Hello, I'm the Net Critic, your one-stop shop for reaction shots. Ever read something you felt was good, yet bad at the same time? Case in point, the comic Weregeek. This story was written by Canadian Aboriginal Alina Pete. The setting is a modern-day setting in a Nowheresville, really not said, but that's an interesting title. What exactly is a Weregeek? Truth is, I have absolutely no fucking clue. Let's jump right into Chapter 1. This first page seems interesting. This could be some sort of Jekyll and Hyde story where he's a prep by day, geek by night, but the truth is, you're not going to see that here. After ending his frenzy we saw on the first page, he snaps out of it in a gaming shop. There, he meets a guy named Joel who tells him that he's a weregeek. But there's no time to marvel over this, because suddenly they're being chased by a random guy in a trench coat. What? Whatever, let's just keep fucking going. Joel, being a son of a bitch, ditches insert name that should be said soon, and leaves him with a book that's apparently important, but is never mentioned again. God, this is going to be awful. Even a comic realizes how stupid it is. It even compares itself to a bad B-movie. Anyways, after a stereotypical chase scene, he winds up in some building where he accidentally triggers a trap door. That leads to vampires? To be honest, I really did want to make a lame Scooby-Doo joke here, but the comic makes it for me! It's like setting up a punching bag that punches itself that has a sign on the front that says, "Please don't hit me." Our fearless hero faints after encountering these vampires and wakes to discover that it was actually a LARP, or live-action roleplay. Wait a second. What are these people with lives and jobs doing with a LARP set with a trap door? I mean, where are they? Are they at some basement? Are they at some warehouse? Are they at some dominatrix house she rents on weekends? I mean, answer me, comic! Answer me! After the main character has had his mind fucked and he's obtained a clean pair of underwear, the LARP is taken to a diner. This is where we finally find out the main character's freaking name. His name is Mark. The other characters' names are Abby, Sarah, Dustin, and Joel, respectively. After the introductions, Mark actually wants an explanation for some of this shit. Hell, anyone in their right mind would. But Joel merely dances around this and fails to explain anything to anyone, whether that's Mark or us. And that's Chapter 1. What the fuck just happened? What is a weregeek? What the fuck is a hunter? What's the deal with that book? And more importantly, why the trap door? So, what is a weregeek? I still have no fucking clue. The problem is, this damn comic can't make its mind of whether it wants to be symbolism or reality. I mean, look at this shit. Here's something symbolic. Here's something where they look like monsters. And here's something where they look like it's both at the same time. But you know, maybe it's trying to build to what a weregeek is. I mean, how long has this been running? A year, maybe? Pull up that first page again. 4 years. This comic hasn't explained its namesake in 4 years?
What the fuck is that?
What kind of horse shit is this? Jesus. Wait, hold on. I think I just figured out what a weregeek is. You take this, plus this, and then you get this shit. Duh. Now, with that mystery solved...
Great work, guys!
That was quick thinking.
That was nothing.
The hunter. Who exactly was he? What does he do? There was a cast page. Can we just pull that up? That says nothing.
What the fuck?
Why you do this? Really? Why? Okay. While I'm here, let's just look at the rest of the cast. First, there's Mark. Mark is a relatively ordinary guy. Bullshit. Who is coming to terms with his geekiness. And if by coming to terms you mean turning into a weird shadow thing, then sure, we'll go with that. Sarah is a tiny, soft-spoken geek girl who adores romantic fiction. And if by romantic you mean Twilight, and by Twilight you mean deformed vampires, and by deformed vampires you mean this, then sure, we'll go with that. Then there's Dustin. Dustin is a stereotypical big lovable guy. Sensitive yet insecure. We all know Dustin. Dustin's the type of guy where if he doesn't play his cards right, he'll end up in the friend zone forever, with nothing but his Star Wars figurines to keep him warm at night.
Oh, Jar Jar, everyone hates you but me. Mwah.
Following Dustin, we have Joel. Joel is a sour, sardonic guy who takes his geeking very seriously, but he thinks he's cooler because he's not a rabid fan or any shit like that. He plays fucking D&D. You cannot get any geekier than that. Hell, even I'm not that bad.
Hey, Critic, you left your fuzzy G20 at campus.
Oh. Thanks. And finally, there's Abby. Abby is a total fangirl. She's always running around like a ferret on Jolta-Cola. And by Jolta-Cola, you must mean cocaine. And supporting characters. Most of these characters are flat and unimportant, so they really don't matter. But Mark did have a girlfriend, and she's probably important. So let's see what it has to say about her. Jess is Mark's girlfriend. She's very much not a geek, and she wears a lot of pink. But she's generally quite nice. Mark worries about how she'll respond to his geeky lifestyle. That's it? Come on! There has to be more. Let's just ask her. Jess.
Yes?
What exactly do you do for the story?
I keep the main male and female protagonists apart.
Awesome. That's just awesome. You know what, Jess? Fuck you. You have the IQ of a fucking gnat. You're talking to Sarah, being like, "Where's Mark? Where's Mark? I don't know where Mark is." You're dumb. You played board games with Mark and his friends. You know that that's what he's doing. You even had a conversation with him about how he's a geek. You acknowledged that he wasn't good at hiding it. Why is he concerned with hiding he's a geek, but you already know? You two are... Fuck. So, how do I feel about these stereotypical characters? Well, they're all stereotypes of geek culture. Every single one of them. However, this is actually a good thing. Because this stereotype element is not the overarching, in-your-face, blown out of proportion stereotypes we all know and love, it actually makes them a little bit more believable. You can see people that you know in these characters. It's just that little bit of an element there. So, That being said, they're actually kinda good characters. So when the comic isn't focusing on Tron Heartlesses or Matrix rejects, it focuses on what geeks do best, and that's play games. The problem is they play way too many damn games for any reader to follow. They play D&D, Shadowrun, Star Wars, their Vampire LARP. This would all be fine and good if the comic was paced properly, but when you cycle through them all, a reader just can't keep track. Another problem with the comic is it has a problem with continuity. There are so many plot holes. Excluding the whole Weregeek fiasco, there's a big plot hole with the Vampire LARP. Mark is given this red stone that's supposed to be important, but it never, ever comes up again. Things like this happen several times throughout the comic. Examples being the book, a game that Joel wants to play but is dropped, and almost an inexcusable plot hole. Joel somehow becomes a part of a resistance that appears halfway through, but we'll let that slide. He captures a hunter. This is important. This is main plot here. But in an entire year, it doesn't come up again. All of these things are brought up and then they just teleport right out of existence. The overall writing for the overarching story and the characters is pretty terrible. The arcs, like the Shadowrun arc for their stories and some of the other gaming arcs, are pretty interesting. As for the jokes of the comic, in the beginning, it was really hit or miss. I mean, see this dork side pun here. It's pointless. It's unoriginal. I mean, why is it even here? But after refining her comedic muscles, the comic actually gets pretty funny. I mean, look at this strip. This strip with these D&D presidents is freaking hilarious. And finally, we have this strip. This strip was my personal favorite. It left me in stitches the first time I read it. I mean, real vampires? Sparkle? No! As for the art of the comic, it actually wasn't that bad. If anything, sometimes it surprised me. In its non-standard arcs, the art was different. It was interesting. It was pretty good. But in the standard arcs, the art seemed to really fit with the mood. Its lights were light, its darks were dark, and it just seemed to flow well. And it doesn't suffer from that I'm new to webcomics and I suck at art thing that a lot of webcomic artists do. So the question begs on whether it's a good comic or a bad comic. I, for one, think if you're a relatively geeky person, you'll probably enjoy it. If not, its poor pacing and immense amount of plot holes will drive you crazy. I, for one, find it to at least be enjoyable. It was a little rough in the beginning, but it got better with time. It's worth enough to give a shot. I'm the Net Critic, your one-stop shop for reaction shots.
My front lawn, I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy.